Welcome to episode 2 of the series Powering SAP Developments with AI. Today, as per the plan, we'll talk about one of the most boring topics that we're faced with. Unless you're part of the legal team, apparently they get excited about it. Governance and privacy. AI is exciting, and many people out there are eager to start using it to optimize code, find problems, extract data from text. But before you do that, we need to stop for a second and think. What happens to the data that I paste into the chat window? You might not care, but I can assure you, the legal department in your company definitely does. At this point, I would say, if in doubt, reach out to the compliance officer or whoever is responsible for such topics. I can try to help you understand the ins and outs of the topic, but myself, I'll not sign a disclaimer saying that this is all there is. After all, I'm a technical SAP expert and not a lawyer. The topic of data privacy should actually be divided into two parts. Number one is what happens to the input that I send it, the so-called prompts or simply requests. And number two is how is the training data processed by the engine? So for number one, by default, everything you write into the chat window is stored and processed to train the OpenAI models. Yes, you've heard that right. Let me repeat. All the proprietary code, sensitive information, personal details, and company secrets that you decide to paste into the chat window are visible to OpenAI and maybe some other third-party companies too. This should already raise a flag in your head and make you think twice before using it. The good news is OpenAI has a setting available which lets you opt out of saving your chat history and using your inputs to train the model. The bad news is, though, that the history will nevertheless be saved for 30 days, so OpenAI will have access to it. According to their privacy policy, its intention is to review it only when needed to monitor for abuse. So unticking this checkbox doesn't mean you can copy and paste your customer database table into it and ask for a transformation to JSON, for example. Those that have been observing the development of this offering have surely heard about the ban that was imposed on Chat-GPT in Italy due to data privacy concerns. Well, OpenAI introduced this training feature toggle to address that, which resulted in the ban being lifted at the end of April. OpenAI is claiming to be working on a business plan called Chat-GPT Business Subscription, which will address the security-related concerns that some companies have. As for the training, Chat-GPT does get its knowledge, or artificial intelligence, I should say, from the content available on the internet. Websites, books, news articles and journals, etc. It then undergoes several data labeling and sampling processes, which structure the result in a format that is understandable and, above all, easily accessible by the machine. That's as much technical knowledge as I have. I won't pretend I know more. After all, we're supposed to be focused on the results and how to use them. Long story short, before you paste anything into the chat window, act as if there was somebody on the other side of the screen who could probably abuse it. Also, please note that many big companies started banning the use of Chat-GPT because of these data privacy related concerns. Make sure you check your company policy before using it. Also, only this week I got access to the new capabilities of GPT-4 by OpenAI. Browsing and plugins. The browsing plugin is able to actually browse the internet in real time and provide answers based on current information. Plugins give you access to a marketplace of third-party connectors to get even more out of it. I hope I don't have to mention that there are even more potential privacy-related concerns using these, as our inputs are now sent to another tool. Also, you can imagine how quickly this technology evolves, because only last week I told you that SAP use cases like SAP Build might have some potential restrictions because of the outdated data model. Well, now we're all real time, so a lot of these concerns could potentially be addressed. So we'll leave it at that. Privacy is something to keep in the back of our heads, especially when we start pasting potentially confidential content into the chat window. Next week, we'll finally go into details on SAP's AI journey and how they extend their offering with AI-powered tools. Stay tuned and make sure you follow me so you don't miss out on the next episode. We finally have all the boring things out of the way and we can start getting our hands dirty with proper stuff. Thanks for watching and see you next week.